Dawie, hoe lyk die beserings en so na die rus het julle enige inspel?
Ja, niks niet nie. So, as dit vraagteken oor Nederland verseer, so maar kyk hoe gaan hy is nou na die dokter toe, maar verder is ons allemaal heel.
Kan jy sorry die ouder sal inkom?
Ja, ons nog even besluit nie, ja, so ons sal nog kyk, hang af hoe dit nou met Nederland gaan, maar dan is Karel daar so en dan die Marvin is ook ons.
Nou die afgelopen paar jaar het julle bietjie beroerd gegaan op julle spark. Wat maak het so moeilik vir julle daarso?
Ja, ek dink die Blues is 'n gevaarlike span as jy speel op hulle spark. Hulle doen goed daarso, ons kan dit nou sien in elke tydswedstryd wat hulle speel, Super Rugby of Currie Cup, hulle is 'n gevaarlike span daarso. Ek dink laas jaar was ons naby gekom. Ek dink ons het net op die einde een of twee foute gemaak wat ons die game gekos het. Ons weet wat wag vir ons op hulle spark en ons is berei vooraf.
You've had a break with a bye. First couple of games of the Lions, what have you seen that you guys need to check out?
Yeah, well, they're a good team in terms of keeping the ball in hand, and they can create opportunities. So that also back ourselves when we have the ball in hand. So in this week's focus is not going to be about what the Lions can do and what the Lions will bring. We first and foremost want to focus on what we can do and what we are as a team. If we're just going to worry about what the Lions are doing, not focusing on what we can play, then I think we'll make a mistake. So that's our mindset and that's how we're prepping.
Double mentioned after the game against the Pumas, a bit loose in the end towards the end of the game. I would attack is your department, and have you guys worked on what Double wanted to get fixed before you face the line?
Yeah, that's we have identified that at the end of that Pumas game, and it was quite a big score at that time, and I think you also want to leave the freedom for the players in that last part of the game to start trying a few things and make sure that we can fix it after the experience they had on the field at that stage. So I think it's more just a little bit of decision making and options that you didn't take the right options at the right times, and that put us under pressure. That made the game a bit loose, but I know this team's got the ability to, when we need to tie it up, we can do it.
Probably there seems to be great chemistry in the team, especially on the attack. Just this guys all seem to be alert for the unorthodox pass and so on. Is that, can we expect kind of that style going forward, or?
Yeah, well, if you play with SP, you have to expect anything, So I think just being around players like him and in training and makes the guys aware of opportunities that may arise with players trying to create. And also, it's something we encourage as well. We don't want to keep players back if they see opportunity. What we just need to do as a team is be accurate, make sure that we get it spot on every single time we try and create opportunity, but we also work on it. So it's not something that we say, listen, SB, go out and do what you want to do. We do it in training sessions, and we try and stimulate and create those scenarios for the players.
Well, how many of those, can't remember how many exactly, but the players that were injured a few weeks ago, how many of them, all of them going to be fit for the next game? And just given the format, a single round competition, how difficult has it been? Maybe a more question for the head coach, but how difficult has it been for you guys just, as a coaching team, just to, maximize obviously your line out, or your lineup, while also, taking into account, workload and stuff like that, and obviously you have to put out your best team every week.
Yeah.
But how tough has that been, especially given all the injuries and then just those guys coming in-house that going to work this time?
Yeah, and I think it's almost a nice position to be in, because every time we select a team, we have to go in depth and really discuss players and see who's on form. What makes it difficult is the buys, like you say. So last week we might have had a nickel, and then we could have changed our squad up, but now everyone's 100% when you arrive on Monday morning. And it's difficult. You want to keep momentum in the tournament because it's short. You don't want to break momentum, and if you break combinations, you chop and change in combinations, you might lose that. So I think every training session we also encourage the guys to see it's an opportunity for you to prove yourself. And if you do well at training, you can get selected.
Dawie, your thoughts on Virtual Yankees? Just you seem to be a guy that brings a little bit of spark, and just your thoughts on what he's showing and where he can go?
Yeah, I really rate Herschel as a player. I think he's been doing well. Firstly in Supersport Challenge, he had a great tournament for us there, and then obviously taking a step up to Currie Cup. What he brings is speed to the game. He's also very, like Johan, he's got good support lines, so every time if we're in a position to make a line break, he'll be on the inside and he's quick to the ball, so that's what he brings to the party, and I think every time he's been on the field, he's been able to speed it up a little bit more and get us in good positions.
How do you feel about those basics, like the pass and the decision making?
Yeah, I think that's solid. I mean, he's got a great pass. Kicking game under pressure, that's something he probably hasn't been exposed to at this level. But we're working on it constantly, and we want to make sure he's an all-rounded player.
Okay, it must be good in that back three with SP, Dylan, and then Sergio as well. Getting the guys to click, and Sergio who's missed Super Rugby this year, seeing that hunger in him to play.
Yeah, I mean, these three guys, they do complement each other. I think they've played a lot of games together as well as a combination, except Sergio coming in, but SP, Dylan, they've got great communication skills and organising skills, so I think it makes it easier for a guy like Sergio that hasn't played in a while to slot in, and I mean, your contribution off the field is also very valuable. Looking at opposition, looking at opportunities there is for us. They'll know exactly what's on the field and where's space, and then they can communicate it through to each other and also to the rest of the teammates.
What was Sebele from the fit?
He won't play the season.
The season?
Yeah, he's out.
Okay. What exactly is the issue?
He's got a groin injury.
Kobus Rinkies van de
Ja, het zal van hier terug gaan. Van hier terug gedaan. Ja, dat is toch wel wat ik was bij morgen geweest, ik kom in bij de dag. Lang morgen geweest.
Dit lyk of jy op die veld, maar eerder jou speelwerk, die praatwerk en as wat jy daai vocal stand-out approach het. Is dit die manier hoe jy
Ja, ek voel op die veld, ons het 'n leadership groep wat die calls maak en die praatwerk, so ek doen my werk en ek voel as ek my workload hoog hou en ja, dan sal ek mense ook encourage om meer harder werk.
In 'n seisoen as Super Rugby ook deel uitgemaak het, na 'n tydjie al, hoe sal jy jou progressie in die BTRP beskryf van die junior daar?
Ja, ek dink veral in Currie Cup nou is ek 'n bietjie meer van daar's baie meer junior spelers, ek met my senior spelers, nog nie met ouderdom, maar ek het al meer gespeel as van hulle, so ek is daar om hulle te help bietjie om hulle te sê hoe ek al was toe ek daai ouderdom was en so min gespeel het. En ek dink, ja, ek weet met my waar ek goed is en ek net goed en ek probeer dit verbeter en werk aan veral so Super Rugby moet ek baie met Sia en Noche en so moet ek baie gecarry, so ek het meer gewerk aan die work rate doen en cleans en carries, cleans en tackles en nou Currie Cup is weer meer werk aan die carries en dit verbeter so ek daai kant van die game ook kan inbring volgende jaar Super Rugby.
En jy noem ook van Sia Noche, hulle is nou weg, maar daar's nog steeds groot kompetisie onder die UCC.
Ja, okay, dis op Loesvoort is altyd kompetisie. Daar's nooit 'n span wat te min flank het of te min agterman het. Dis altyd kompetisie. So jy moet altyd elke game wat jy vol speel. Dit is eintlik 'n goeie ding want jy gaan nooit kan relax en weet jy's verseker van jou plek. Jy moet altyd elke game met jou beste gee.
Wat dink jy oor die kombinasies? Versien met die bokke, soms kan die ons in die hoofdspel kombinasie nie altyd regter is, so dit graag wou jy soos 'n ouetjie is 'n stokkie wat hy bring iets anders, hy bring iets anders en jy kan speel en hoe belangrik is dit vir hy balans om daai reg te kry om met verskillende tipe spelers in elke posisie te kry?
Ja, dat is belangrijk, want je kan niet 3 van diezelfde spelers hê nie, want dan gaan jy, sê maar die 3 mense wat baie hoog het, dan gaan hulle almal heeltemal by die afbreekpunte hê, dan gaan jy maar geen buite in jou game hê. En veral met Trokkie is 'n baie goeie carrier en hy bring jou oor die voorlyn. Hy bring so 'n paar carries wat jou die span laat spaak en dis oor die voorlyn, jy kry momente en dan as jy span weer op haai en so ja, ek dink dit is belangrik. En wat ons nou baie werk, ons werk baie mini skills in oefening. En ons het meetings saam waar die Lucy saam sit en kyk, ons aan superheid is aangebring, want Lucy skil saam kyk wat er wag van ons praat by veld en ons deel die werk en ek dink het werk goed, vooral om te kommunikeer met mekaar.
As ek kyk die Lions, dit was die ouetjies, ons wat kan aan toe soos agter in die speel is, ons daai man nie, wat dink jy van dis in hulle kant loop?
Is nog net 'n dophou, want hy hou van om die baie kanale te hardloop. So as jy hom in die begin van die wedstryd al 'n paar goeie iets moet sit en hom onder druk sit, dan gaan hy later nie so baie wat kan as hy wil spasie hê. So as jy die spasie wegvat, dan gaan hy nie so groot invloed op die game hê.
Okay. SB, just talk to us about how refreshing it's been to have a guy like Sergio back and how you see your own role in that sort of back three with Dylan and Sergio.
Well, luckily for me, I've known Sergio when he started playing Super Rugby back in 2013 when we played together for the Kings. So for me, making him feel comfortable was quite an easy job, and he's also a very proactive guy that wants to be a part of the group. So even though you're not training, you're always training because you're part of video sessions and you try and participate in meetings like that. So for him to be back, injury free, playing, we want to have the guys enjoy their rugby. So obviously you mentioned it earlier, and Sergio enjoys his rugby thoroughly. So we want to keep that going because that gives the certain guys and certain characters their confidence.
You've been switching between positions as well when you play and also now recently, if I recall correctly. How do you adapt to that and do you just get on with it because that's ultimately what the coaches want for the team?
Yeah, I'm here to do a specific job, and if I am told to play in a specific position for a specific job, then I have to utilize that. So, I mean, that's my focus point. I started my professional career as a wing under Alan Solomons, so it's not frowned upon for me to play on the wing. Both left or right, it doesn't matter. It's just what the team needs, and that's the most important factor.
The added responsibility of goal kicking, that's obviously a very big part of your role in side.
Yes, it's something that I've been working on quite hard over the years. I've never had the opportunity to take control there in that regard. I feel I've been up to the task. I've shown it last year, I've shown it in Super Rugby this year as well. So yeah, I enjoy it thoroughly. It brings another aspect to my game that people weren't aware of or that they took for granted in my way of playing. So I'm just happy for the opportunity, and I just want to use the opportunity while it's there.
And just something on Josh Kanye, he's a new guy in the team. What does he bring differently to the other guys that you?
I think he's a more robust type of 10, more physical type of 10. He's not the flashy, sidestepping guy that in that per se. Not that he can't do that, he can, but I think he's more controlled, a more physical guy. He does what a general is supposed to do in his position, and for me playing with him, it's also empowering him and giving him that freedom and that empowerment to be able to do that. I mean, it will help him grow in the years to come. So yeah, he's a lot like a Carlos Spencer type of Luke McAllister 10 instead of a flashy 10 in that way. But I mean, he's been playing very good rugby. He's been playing very good. He's been commanding the forwards and commanding the backs the way 10 shoots. So he's on a good high, so hopefully he can keep that going.
Yesterday there was when you guys were playing overseas, a New Zealand commentator said something about you that maybe summed you up a bit, and he said you won't die wandering in the sense that you're always trying something.
Yeah, I mean, it's never, the game can't be, it's never going to be dead, so you always want to try and do something, even when your back's against the wall. I mean, I believe I'd rather die fighting than back out of something. I think it's to do with my stubborn character as well in that regard.
This way, just on that, the fact that you're able to, or you like to do it, do you guys, as a combination, especially the type of players that you have in the factory, and you mentioned the skill that Josh brings to the club. So does it help to have that type of club and you guys at the back that can, play the situation type of thing?
Yeah, I think that's where Coach Dawie can take the credit for that. He empowers us to think like coaches do. So, at the end of the day, we're on the field, we're in the situation. So it's about playing the situation instead of being too systematic. Obviously, you've got certain plans and certain things in place that you want to achieve and want to accomplish. But at the end of the day, we're the ones on the field and we're the ones making the decisions. And part of us growing as a union is about entrusting those certain characters with that empowerment of making a decision on the field, which also helps people develop their skills in rugby and after rugby if they want to go into coaching. So we try and create situations in training which can reflect in game situations, so that once you get to that situation you're already used to being in that position and knowing what to do, so it also makes the transition a lot better.
And your own situation in terms of just what you bring to a team. I mean, some players are just, bring that little bit something else that you don't see in a lot of players, and I guess you have that little bit of an individual streak. Do you think that possibly do you have that ambition to possibly even carry that to a higher level, to the highest level, to the Springboks? Or are you kind of realistic about everything, or keeping your feet on the ground, so to speak?
Oh, my feet's always on the ground because I've got coaches who will quickly humble you, and luckily this game has taught me a few valuable lessons that you never can be bigger than the game, because it will spit you out to say it in that regard. But it's not about me. It's about the team and what they need for the day. And everybody brings a certain element to the game that made them where they are today, and it's about empowering those players to bring that element and that confidence to the game. Solely rugby is a confidence game. So, I mean, sometimes we can get broken down in certain ways or certain manners, which sometimes it gets to you, but it's about the people that are here 24/7 with you, that are growing with you and getting to know you and building you up in that regard.
Yes, if I look at my personal view, a similar type of player in comparison would be a guy like Ben Smith, who plays similar type of position. Is that the type of player that you look up to and aspire to, and maybe think I can also do that?
Oh, Ben Smith is a phenomenal player. I mean, he's Mr. Reliable, as they used to say. So, yeah, I definitely, there's a lot of aspects in him that I look up to and I want to aspire to in his game, but there's also a lot of other players who has other certain abilities that I also aspire to, like Milner Scudder, Ben Smith. There's a lot of players that they have that are of high quality, but so do we have. We have guys like Cheslin Colby, we have guys like Willie LaRue. We also have that aspect in our regards. I think we constantly refer to what New Zealand brings, but that's a different kettle of fish. We are different in our own ways and the way we play rugby. So I think there's certain ways we bring to the party that they necessarily don't.
Just your thoughts on the Lions? Just on what they've been showing? They don't agree.
Oh, they're a young team, which also ignorance is bliss. So they're not scared to try anything. They play with a lot of confidence, and especially at Ellis Park, things just seem to work for them. I think they're also on a good foot coming from a third year Super Rugby final. I mean, the guys obviously want to play for the team and they want to show that the coaches that they belong in Super Rugby, which is where everybody works to. So I think they're on a good foot. I mean, they're still unbeaten. So it's going to be a different challenge this weekend to what we had before, and you know, it's something to look forward to.
You didn't play in last year's Currie Cup final, did
I didn't play in the final,
Okay.
but I was there with everybody, holding the bags, doing my job off the field. That was it. That was given to me.
Okay, so you weren't injured at the time.
No, I wasn't injured.
So it must be motivation to kind of try and go to.
Yes, it's obviously a big motivation for me. Last year was a different ball game because I've been privileged enough to be in that situation before. So it's also about giving other guys an opportunity that hasn't been in that position. So my job back then was to help the guys, to make them feel comfortable, to give them confidence in their abilities. So I believe I did my job quite well, because at the end of the day we brought the cup back home. So for me, I did my job, and at that stage that was asked of me, and that's what I had to do.
If we play quite a few different provinces and so on, it seems as if you found your home. Is that really the case?
Yeah, well, I've grown up around Western Province. You know, back in the days when this was still Bellville, you know, I used to kick ball here with my father when Bellville Rugby Club was here. So I won't say it's necessarily that I found a home. Obviously, I'm back home, but I think it's also due to a lot of lessons I learned. And you know, coming from the whole King saga and what happened there, and having nothing, and to get given another lifeline, you know, was an opportunity I knew I wanted to grab. And luckily the timing was right with the coaching staff we had in Super Rugby and the coaching staff we have in the Currie Cup as well. Yeah, I've matured as a player and as a human being in that regard. So I think, you know, life's all about timing, and I think the time and place for me to be was basically a full circle for me to come back home. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to play rugby. Obviously it's what I'm good at and it's what I love. So just to have that opportunity again, it makes me grateful, and that's why I'm happy to be here. And I think that's the biggest thing I learned in rugby, is to be grateful and to enjoy it, because we'll never have the opportunity to play with the same players again, because it's constantly up and down and this and here. I mean, I might not ever have the opportunity to work with the same coaching staff, even with Mike, you know. Yes. You never know how it goes. It's about, you know, embracing the moments as they come.
Right. Sorry, just last one here. Hearing you speak and mentioning that stubbornness, do you think that after what happened at the Kings, if you weren't this stubborn that you mentioned, that you would have been here playing rugby still, would you have been out of the game? If you weren't that stubborn?
Yeah, well, it goes both ways, but I think it's my desires was too high in that regard. I wanted to be here and I wanted to work, and you know, the way things worked out for me, you know, I can carry on with millions of stories and exactly how that portrayed and how that worked out. And it was just a funny way of coming here and get given an opportunity, because technically I was retired. You know, I gave everything up and said it's not worth it because there's life after rugby, and I set up things for me outside of rugby so that I can go and work. And then I've just received a random call from Gertsmal, and you know, obviously without being stupid, you know, I had to grab the opportunity. So yeah, a lot of lessons learned. I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm just grateful and happy to be in the situation where I am and in the time where I am.
Okay.